Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video, I will show you how to create an iOS control center widget in React Native's new architecture. So this will be an iOS specific tutorial for React Native. I'll tell you what we will be doing is we will be tracking the tea intake or coffee intake of a user. So we will be making use of, so firstly inside our app we will have one button as well as a label. On click of the button, every time the counter will increase, and that particular value will be stored inside user defaults. Now user defaults is used to store key value data, and we will be writing native code for it. Now some of you might be wondering why we are not using something like async storage, why to write native code for it. The reason is because we need to access user defaults from our control center widget as well, which will be completely in Swift and Swift UI. So we can't really use async storage because of this case. Behind the scenes, I'm not sure if async storage uses user defaults or not. But yeah, that's the reason why we have to create user defaults. So yeah, let's get started, and later on then we'll create a control center widget, and it will have one button, and every time we don't have to go to our app to increase our coffee intake or tea intake. We can just click on that control center widget and it will increase the count for us and save it inside user default. So hopefully you got the point. If you're confused, it's fine, we'll go through it together, and hopefully I'll do a good job of explaining things to you. So firstly, you will have to go to this particular documentation. Like I told you, we will be using the new architecture and we will have to write some native code. So first, I have already created a React Native project, so you can run this particular command. You don't have to specify the version. Whatever is the, if you don't specify the version, whatever is the latest version, it will create a project using that. And this is the project name, so you can change it to whatever you feel like. Then if you scroll down, here you can see it tells us to create the specs folder. So if I go to my React Native project, here you can see I have created this specs folder. Inside that I have created this TypeScript file called native local storage.ts. Again, I have named it the same thing, but if you want you can name it little different, but do remember this name because we will be using this name in lot other places as well. Now I have just copied this entire bit of code and pasted it over here. Now I have removed this remove item and clear from my use case. It didn't really make sense. Also, if you see, I have taken the value as a number and the return type is also number. Here in the documentation they are using string, and here they are using string null. In my case, again, we are storing a counter value or a number value, so we'll be using number. Why to use string in this case? Okay, so that's why. Rest everything remains the same. Then if you see the documentation, scroll down, here you can see inside package.json they tell us to add this bit of code. So I have done the same thing. I went to package.json and I have added this bit of code. Then just open your terminal. So let me just open my terminal. I will cd to my project. So my project name is rn app control center. You can name it whatever you feel like, and just do npm install. Once you do npm, because we have changed this package.json file, that's why we have to do npm install. Now again, if you have named this particular native local storage something different, you will have to change the name over here as well as over here, but for me it is same. That's why I can just copy paste it from the documentation. Then we will have to cd to the iOS directory. So once you run npm install, just cd to iOS, and then you will firstly have to run this bundle install command. I have already run this, so I'm not running it again. So you make sure you run this bundle install. Once you run that, it will take a little bit of time to run because it will have to do some CocoaPod installation. Then here you will have to run this bundle exec pod install as well. This also does some CocoaPod installation. Again, I have ran this command, so I won't run it again. And it will also do code generation for this methods which we have created. Now if you again scroll down, here inside app.tsx they have mentioned how to use this. So just go to app.tsx. Here I have imported our TypeScript file something like this. Then here I am just using React's uState to store the value, and this is the method to save value. So whatever is the current value, we update it by 1, pass it to our set item. This is our key, and do remember this key. We will be using the same key on control center widget as well, and we just call set value over here. once the file has been stored, and we just get the value as well. Now inside get value, we get the value whatever is stored inside user defaults, and just again set it to our stored value. So you don't require set 2 times, but yeah, I've just given it just for the sake of it. And once our app launches for the first time, or we are using use effect to get the value. So in case if you have already saved some value inside user defaults and you're reopening the app for the second, third, fourth and subsequent times, you want to immediately display the current value to the user which is stored inside user defaults, right? That's why I'm calling get value inside use effect. And here you can see I've just taken a button. On press of it, we just call save value, and here I have one text element. Here we are just displaying the value. Now we'll have to write the actual implementation. So for that, you just have to go to your project, go to iOS and double click on this .exe workspace. It will open it inside Xcode. So I'm already inside Xcode. Then if I just scroll down, here you can see that they tell us to create a group name native local storage. Again, this is the TypeScript file name. So to create a group, you can just right click over here and press new group and give it a name as native local storage. I have already created it. Then you have to create these two files. So for that, just right click again, new file from template, and let's just wait. And here you can select Cocoa Touch class, click next, select languages Objective C, and here you can name it as RCT native local storage. So if you check the documentation, it also says the same thing. Now once you just click on next, I have already created it, so I won't create it in again, and then click on create. Then it will create two files for you. One is the header file and another is the Objective C file. Now for the Objective C file, you will have to change the extension manually from .m to .mm, so it is Objective C++. Now if you go to the header file, so here they, as you can see, they have given all the steps. So this is the header file. So again, you just have to copy paste all this code. So I've just copy pasted all this code for the header file from the documentation, pasted it over here. Now they have forgot this particular line of code in the documentation. I think by the time you watch it, they might add it, but here you can see they have forgot to add the end over here. So yeah, don't forget this particular end, otherwise again you will get error. Then we'll go to our Objective C++ file. Again, I have just copy pasted it from the documentation, but only thing is we can't really directly copy paste all this, because firstly we don't have this remove and clear item inside our TypeScript file, and for this set item and get item we are not using ns string, we are using ns number, right? Or ns integer, whatever it is called in Objective C++. So for that, first go to Objective C file. Rest everything you can copy it. So this I have copied it from documentation. Now this is not the same key which we were using it over here. Okay, so this key is different. This is for you saving key value data pair inside user defaults, but this particular key is the suite name. So typically if you have little bit knowledge of native iOS and if you have used user defaults, while using user defaults we write user defaults dot standards dot set key or whatever, or get, but we can't use that because we need to use this user defaults in control center widget as well. That's why we have to use something called suite name, and this is the suite name of my user default. So typically what I do is you will have to write your own suite name. So you can just write group dot whatever is the bundle identifier of your application. To get the bundle identifier, just go over here, go to sign in capabilities, and this is the bundle identifier. So you can change it to whatever you feel like. I'll just add my team ID as well. Okay, I'll just go back. So here again you will have to change it to your own bundle identifier. Again, now this key is also important because we will be using this key in some other places as well, so do remember this key. Next, again I have just copy pasted this from the documentation. This has been copied from the documentation, this also has been copied from documentation, this also has been copied from documentation. Okay, then we have to change this method over here. So for get item, it is ns number, which takes an key, right, of ns string. So here basically we are fetching the value from user defaults, and here we are boxing that particular value because the return type is ns number, but from user defaults we get ns integer. So that's how we convert ns integer to ns number, and here we are setting the value. So this is the double value which we get, and here is the key. So we just do set local storage, set integer, pass our value, pass our key as well, and here we end it. So yeah, that's it. So okay, so that's it from the, I think from near this code side. Now as far as I know, this control center widget is only available from iOS 18. I could be wrong, so I will just change this to iOS 18. Maybe you can try it for lower version of iOS as well, because this control center widget I only saw in WWDC 24 video, so I'm assuming it is only from iOS 18. But if you want, you can try lower version, so I'll just change iOS 18 over here as well as over here. Okay, once that is done, again go to sign in and capability, click on this plus capability button, and here you will have to add this app groups. And now okay, I'll just, okay, my internet connection went down. Okay, I'll check my internet connection later on. But for now, what we'll have to do, we just have to copy this whatever you have typed over here, and we'll have to add this inside our control. So just click on this plus button and just paste it over here like this. Click on OK. Okay, then we'll have to now ignore this. My internet connection is not working fine. I'll check that later on. But next is we have to add our control center widget. So for that, you can just go to file, new, then go to target, and here you can just search for a widget. So click on widget extension, click on next, and here you can just name it whatever you feel like, my RN app widget. Okay, you can give it some better name, and here make sure you check this include control as well as this include configuration app intent. You can uncheck this include live activity because we are not really using that, and then just click on finish. Here you will have to click on activate again. Then again you will have to go to your application over here. Then here you will have to select your extension, click on plus capability, again search for app group, add it, and here again click on plus button and add the same key which we added it previously. So I'll just add that and click on OK. Once that is done, here is our widget. Then here inside that you will have to go to this control widget. Now here we have to add Swift UI elements, but you can't randomly add any Swift UI elements. At least for now, the control widget only takes two kinds of Swift UI elements. One is the control widget toggle, and second one is the control widget button. So we will be using the control widget button because we want to increment the counter every time it is clicked, right? So I can just comment this out. You can change this to whatever you feel like, something like T intake, and here you can change it like app to track T intake. Okay, rest you can ignore. You can also comment this out, this is not really needed for us. Now what I'll do is I'll just cheat a little bit. I'll just go to my native iOS project and copy some code, then I'll explain it to you. So I need this one and I need this one, so I'll just open these two files. So here is our control, and here I will just copy this control widget button, okay, code, and I'll come back to Xcode and I will just paste it over here. So this is the control widget button. Action means what happens on click of the button. I'll come back to this later on. Here is our user defaults. Now we need to get hold of our user defaults. So for that I will just use this particular bit of code. Okay, and I'll just paste it over here. Now our bundle identifier is different, so I will just come over here. This is my bundle or the key of our suit name, whatever you call it. So I'll just change it over here. Okay, and this user defaults key is also different. So if you go to our React Native project, we are using my key, right? So that's what I'm pasting over here. So this too will help us to get hold of our user defaults. So that's what we are getting from our user default. So whatever is the value, we are displaying it inside this text element, and here I have just taken one image element. Okay, I'll just improve the indentation a little bit. Okay, so something like this. Now we need this increment intent file as well. So for that you can just go to your widget, right click, new empty file, and here you can just click on increment indent. Now make sure you create this file from Xcode, do not create it from VS Code. Next I'll just copy this from my previous project. Okay, and I'll close everything. Okay, now here I'll just paste it. So here this is how the button click works. So firstly again this should be your user defaults key, right? So what was my user defaults key? My key. So I'll just paste it over here. Again you can just change this to whatever you feel like. Now every time you click on this button, this perform method gets called automatically, and this perform method is overridden from this app intent. And here we again get hold of our user default. So again we'll have to change this to our own bundle identifier. So I'll just come over here. This is my bundle identifier. I'll just copy this, or I can just copy this one. Don't copy this one because it has that RN app widget name as well. So be careful, just copy this one and paste it over here. Now here we get hold of our user defaults. Whatever is the value, we get it over here, we increment it by 1 and save it to back to user defaults. I think that should be it. Okay, now what I'll do, also one more thing, just change this back to your own app, because if you run, you should not directly run your widget. I mean, you can run it, but it won't make much sense to you if you're running it for the very first time. You might get confused. So make sure, I will now just run my iOS app, and once it is ready, I'll come back to you. Again, if you want, you can run it on simulator or on a real device, doesn't really matter, but this will take a little bit of time. In case if there is any error, I'll come back, but yeah, now this will take a little bit of time. So I'll just come back once this is done. Alright guys, so here is the output. Now even I have not tested the output, so hopefully it works. So here I'll just click on this update button, and here you can see the value is incrementing. Okay, so this is working. So now the value is 5. What I'll do is I'll just move this app to the background. I'll just open our control center. I'll click on this plus button. I'll click on add a control, and here you can see this is our app, RN app control center, or whatever your app name is. I'll just click on this. Now before you click on anywhere else, you can just sorry, you can just, I mean, the simulator is acting a little weird, so you can just drag this a little bit. Here you can see the number of T is 5. Now I can click on anywhere. So here is our widget, control center widget. If I click on this, here you can see the count has incremented to 6, 7, 8, 8. Okay, now if I go back to my app, now our app is in background, and if you remember, I was only calling this inside the use effect. Maybe you will have to call this get value inside this view did appear, something like that, life cycle as well. But now our value is 8. If I click on this update button, okay, it's jumped to 6. I don't know why. It should have jumped to 9, I guess. 7, 8, 9. Okay, if I increment this, yeah, this is jumping back to 10. This is working for, oh, I know. I think I made an issue over here because we have not called this. So this value is getting called inside get value, right? We are storing this value. Wait, let me, so the I'll just so the value is now level. Okay, this works over here. I'll completely close my app. I think I know what the issue is. It's because we are so yeah, here you can see now the value is level. Okay, so it's not a bug. So basically I forgot to call this get value inside. If your app is in background, you will have to call it in some other maybe some other life cycle method, like view did appear. I don't know what the life cycle method is once our app is in background, and if we move it back in foreground, so something like that. So hopefully you got the point. So here you can see now the value is 12. Now we are not updating our widget, so our widget will still be behind. So if I click on our widget, here you can see it value jumps to 13. I'll make a separate video on how to reload our control center widget from our app, but now the value is okay. I'll just increase it few more times. Now the value is 15. Okay, now if I have completely removed the app from the background, because we are not calling this get value inside this another view did appear, something like that. But if I open the app, here you can see value is 15. So there is no bug as such. It's just that I forgot to call that extra method, which I don't know. Maybe you can do some research on that, but hopefully you got the point. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.